welcome back. We are going to decorate for Halloween. I do not typically decorate intensely for Halloween, so I'm excited because I am doing more so this year, and mostly that's a result of my boys are 5 and 3 and they love all spooky things. I tend to like more tasteful or cute Halloween decorations, but I did mix in some skeletons this year, and we're going to just try to make it magical so that they come home from school and are excited to see what we have in store. Let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start by making some festive coffee. Does anyone else get joy from glassware like I do? It does not bode well for the clutter-free lifestyle that I desire, but with our coffee in hand, bear with me because in the days before filming this video, I figured out heatless curling, and it left me feeling like I just needed to create a 10-second public service announcement really quick. As you might remember from my first YouTube video that I posted last week, I've been off social media for 7 years, and not having the chance to peruse dozens of heatless curling reels might be the biggest loss from my time away, a price I was willing to pay. Look at how well these work. The key is this one-piece situation that ties up over your head like a bonnet. It leaves you looking like a true character from a Jane Austen novel, so for those of you who are already in retainers and eye masks at night like me, it really completes our look. I'll link it for anyone who's interested. So to start, I'm going to show you the different areas that I've prepped. I learned many years ago in work, failing to prepare is preparing to fail, and I am finding that is just as true around house decorating and trying to go about this in a more organized way so that I can film and share. And so I've kind of organized the things that I plan on decorating into piles, and so we'll kind of talk through what it is that you will get to see in this video. All right, here are some skeletons. I went a little crazy for someone who doesn't love skeletons. I thought these ones maybe looked a little happy, question mark. Well, we'll see what we can do with these, but my boys will be excited. We are into our first year of packing lunches at elementary school this year. For the lunch boxes, I thought it would be fun to put in some of the little fangs and spiders. We have a little cute garland. Here are the ingredients for chocolate graveyards. I already made some pudding and that's sitting in the fridge. These serve as the little gravestones. You've likely seen these before. You kind of crumble up the Oreos and then put in different sorts of gummy worms and write things on the different tombstones. Those are always a yearly favorite. For crafting, I'm making little Halloween birdseed monsters. We'll just cover these in peanut butter and birdseed and then put some googly eyes on them. I wanted orange string, but I had green, so that's what we'll be going with. And then I'm excited to hang these from the ceiling in the living room, and then I may also do the porch. And then just some other decorations, a little more Halloween forward that I took out that we will also use. So I'm starting here by tying clear wire that came with the witch hats. Doing the same with the candles plus adding batteries was a bit time intensive and honestly the exact kind of task that can keep me from decorating and expressing my creative side because it feels a little bit too overwhelming and a lot of it too tedious. That's why I've been intentionally trying to approach these sorts of tasks with a different mindset. One perspective decides something is just too much effort and sees an inconvenience, but the other side sees an opportunity. In this case, putting together hanging candles and hats provides the opportunity for me to be away from work and my computer and breathe and use my hands. I'm sure you're probably familiar with the concept of a Sabbath. Stick with me here. This is the idea that taking a day off, like God did on the 7th day after creating the world, is an important part of our rhythm. There's an idea around the Sabbath that if you work with your mind, you should Sabbath with your hands. If you work with your hands, Sabbath with your mind. As someone who works primarily with my mind, this means I may find rest in things like gardening, painting, or cooking, or, as is apparently more realistically the case for me, summoning my inner Hogwarts decorator to conjure up a Halloween living room filled with floating candles, well-adorned mantles, and levitating hats. If you're someone who works with your hands day to day, you may spend time on your Sabbath reading, meditating, doing quiet reflection work, that kind of thing. I think the point is that we're meant to rest intentionally. And for me, I find exhale and I experience God's rest in doing creative things. Something I'm reflecting on right now as I'm thinking about all this is my mom, who's a big part of the reason that I love seasonal decorating. From her, I inherited a love for home goods and decorating, not just for Halloween and Christmas, but also for Valentine's Day and Easter and 4th of July and birthdays and everything in between. By trade, my mom is a nurse, but her career has spanned nurse, stay-at-home mom, master's student, director in one of the country's biggest hospitals, and more. My point is, like my mom, a nurse and a seasonal decorator, a career woman and a dedicated mom, now a Mimi and a small business owner. I'll link her amazing hand embroidery kits in the description, by the way. Like her, you too are multifaceted. Like my mom, I am too. And we all need to find what gives our souls rest and pour into that with gratitude, but also with intentionality. Because if we don't intentionally pursue soul rest, the kind that simultaneously makes our spirits rise and lets our shoulders drop, it won't happen. I do happen to have one more thought on this topic, but let's first continue a little decorating and I'll pop in too. One thing I have found that I really love about being a mom is I just love the seasons, but I also love books and fun little things for kids, whether it's recipes or food art or crafts. So I wanted to share some of our favorite Halloween books. Here's a little collection of the ones that we have read over and over and over again. Feel free to screenshot. I would say special shout out to The Spooky Wheels on the Bus and It's Pumpkin Day Mouse, which my kids both think are absolutely hilarious for reasons I cannot exactly pinpoint myself. It is now the next day. Yesterday got away from me a bit, and we are going to continue finalizing everything in this house for Halloween and draw things to a close so that we can celebrate with the kids and enjoy Halloween as it comes up here in a couple days. And then So where I left off was talking about my multifaceted mom and how we all find rest in different ways, and how if we don't intentionally pursue this sort of Sabbath that our souls were made for, our lives will be missing something. The reality is, though, like anything in life, achieving a life-giving Sabbath or form of rest doesn't just happen. Especially because sometimes that rest actually comes in the form of an action, and inaction is always going to be easier than action. It's easier not to go for a walk in nature. It's easier not to sit down at the piano. It's easier not to light a candle and journal. The culture that we live in seems to think that rest is only inaction, sleeping or chilling on the couch or scrolling our phones. But by and large, that's not the kind of rest that God wired us individually to need. If God himself hadn't Sabbathed and thus created the Sabbath, he wouldn't have basked in and enjoyed his creation quite the same. So think of what we mere humans give up when we don't carve out time for what God created us to do, at least one time out of every 7. Again, resting in the way that he desires and uniquely created us to. Even, and perhaps especially, if that means hanging cute crafty things from your ceiling seasonally. Well, thank you so much for being here. My boys' reaction to the decor, chocolate graveyards, and Pinecone monsters was adorable. And from our family to yours, and especially our newest pumpkin to the patch, happy Halloween. I'd love for you to subscribe so you're here from this 3rd YouTube video of mine on, and I can't wait to see you for Christmas content coming next week. Thanks again. Your being here means so much to me, and even if you've hardly prepared for Halloween or are late to the game like me, or are just feeling behind in any other area of your life right now, give yourself grace and remember also to not overlook the importance of taking a Sabbath and resting in the unique way that will fill your soul and remind you who God created you to be. See you soon.